Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Lakeflow Declarative Pipelines. In this lesson, we're gonna explore data quality controls in declarative pipelines. So here are the learning objectives. We'll start with the overview of data quality controls, where we will learn key components that you need to define data quality controls. We'll take a look at usage syntax, and we'll learn to differentiate different types of data quality controls. Next, in a demo section, we will first start by building a simple data quality controls. So we'll take a look at different types that you can see on screen. Then we will explore composite data quality controls. Next, we're going to learn how you can use data quality controls to implement some standard database constraints like primary keys and foreign keys. Finally, I will demonstrate how you can implement quarantine mechanism, which will allow you to filter out irregular data from your source data. Let's get started. Data quality controls is one of the best features of declarative pipelines. Using these controls, you can achieve a lot more in terms of control over your data than you would get with traditional controls available to your Delta Lake tables. First of all, you can define flexible conditions that we are going to discuss a little later, but also you can define flexible actions that you would like to take when your conditions are violated. So let me explain this on the example of this nice diagram that I have borrowed from Databricks documentation. First of all, you will need to define expectations. So expectations work just like software engineering expectations, except in this case, their purpose is to control data quality. Defining expectations means that you have to define conditions and actions. So conditions can be any SQL conditions that is relevant in the context of your data. So examples could be validating for null values or validating for certain value range. And then you have to define one of the three action types that are provided here. Let me describe these actions. Two of these actions work on a row level, whereas the third one works on entire pipeline level. With warn actions, the rows that are violating your conditions are actually kept in your target dataset. However, you can get statistics about how many rows were good, how many rows were irregular. Drop action is more restrictive. With drop action, the row violating conditions will be removed from your target dataset. Finally, with fail action, if any single row violates your conditions, your pipeline execution will be terminated and any rows that have been inserted in your target table will be rolled back. Expectations can also be two types. A simple type, which allows you to specify a single condition, as well as composite or multiple type, where you can include dictionary of multiple conditions. How do we define quality controls? So you need to define your expectations right after your data object declaration, whether it's streaming table or materialized view. So you can include one or more expectations just like this, and you need to use pipeline decorator for that, followed by respective action. And then you have to provide name as well as condition. So depending on response actions, you have to use one of these three functions. So for warn, for example, you would use expect method. For drop rows, you would use expect or drop. For fail, you would use expect or fail. So this is how you would define simple expectation. With composite expectations, the syntax is similar, except you use these variations of methods. So for example, for drop, you will use expect all or drop method. And as I mentioned earlier, with composite expectations, you can specify multiple conditions combined together as a dictionary. So that concludes today's discussion. To summarize, we have discussed different types of quality controls that you can apply on declarative pipelines data objects. We have explored different response actions that you can apply, and we have looked into different types of expectations, including simple expectations or composite or multiple expectations. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next lesson.